Well, hopefully she'll be here. So
Okay, all right, cool.
yeah.
Well, today, initially the topic that I was going to talk on today was the emotional side of money. But as we prepare for our host to come in, and we have that really interesting topic that the credit union is having, it's still Financial Information Month. That's also something to be mindful of. So this is actually uh, these two topics could actually intertwine, right? They could work together. Digital transformation is a very important thing, and just to give the listening audience an idea of what it is, digital transformation for financial inclusion, right? We could put that in the context of for credit unions and other financial institutions alike. It really refers to the integration of technology into all areas of business. This would not only lead to significant operational changes, but also fundamentally transform how these institutions add value to us customers. All right. It's still really interesting to me to see the tremendous long lines. I realized like when the government issued the last $1,000, there were people driving around just looking at the lines. Well, how can digital transformation affect that and our willingness as a people to actually adopt the changes that could potentially come? So this leads to, as I said, operational changes that really should benefit us. And as it comes to the financial inclusion, the goal is to make financial services more accessible. The goal is to make financial services more accessible to us customers, to everybody. Once ago you had to go in the bank and you would see someone getting their bank book balanced, right? Or they're getting their checkbook reconciled. I don't even know if people use checks now. At least I know when I see people paying with cash now, I get a little frustrated. And in the past, I've actually offered to pay for their groceries or pay for their items just so we could speed up the process. So it definitely affects accessibility. And what's really most important to us individuals is affordability, right? That's what this whole topic is. And that's what I think the credit unions and credit union leagues trying to really push is how they could increase accessibility and how they can increase affordability regardless of income levels or social status. Right. And that's two really important things. James, let me ask you this. What do you think about our financial inclusion or digital transformation of financial services in St. Kitts and Nevis? How has that been going? What are your thoughts there?
Well, it's spotty. It has its hiccups. I was pleasantly surprised that within the last 2 months, I've been to POSs where it was just touch, and
Okay.
that's the CIBC card has it's they have the I guess the most evolved card at this point. Oh, and the cable loyalty Mastercard. So they're just touch. So
Okay.
I've seen about three places where I went and I said, wow, I didn't realize we were. I
You
didn't
know
realize.
how important that is though, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the tap, because whenever you slide a credit card or you insert a credit or debit card, those machines actually take an imprint of your card. And
Mm-hmm.
all over we always hear about the people could read cards with RFID scanners, or you
Yeah.
never know what's embedded in some of these points of sale,
Yeah.
especially on like checking out of a store or whatever,
Yeah.
where they could actually capture your card number by tapping it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a financial security measure, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
a digital transformation that is
Mm-hmm.
meant to truly assist the general public and increase safety.
Let me
So
give you the
that's
down.
really good.
Yeah. Well, let me give you the downside now. I had an incident last month where my my card was used in Saudi Arabia twice.
Oh, wow.
Thank God it wasn't a lot of money. It was like $41.22. The
I've had
first,
that. Yeah.
yeah, the first time they got away. The second time it was declined because I guess. Well, I called the bank. I called National Bank and I
Hmm.
told them, well, my card was $41.22. By the way, it turns out to be $57.62 in just Saudi Riyal. And it
Okay.
seems as though, yeah,
That was a money lesson.
yeah, I paid attention to that. Yeah, and they tried it the second time. It didn't work the second time, but then I was really surprised that um, I was really surprised that someone had access to my
Yeah.
to,
You know,
to my card.
there've been a lot of hacks. There've been a lot of hacks. We've been inputting our credit card information, debit card information online for such a long time and mindlessly doing it at times. And then the company is supposed to have cybersecurity measures, but these hackers are getting more proficient, right? I mean, you could go on YouTube and get a tutorial on the basics of hacking. So that's something to truly have in the back of our minds, that as we progress and have these digital transformation and financial services, that some of that will come with some innate risk, right? And we then have to challenge our financial institutions and
Yeah.
ask them, how are you protecting our data? How are you protecting our
Well,
information
speaking of
overall?
speaking of hacking and financial institutions, I managed to hack the matrix and get
Okay.
get and get Marquisa to show
Mm.
up. Marquisa, an employee at the sponsoring sponsoring financial institution. She's now in studio. Hi,
She's in
Marquisa.
studio.
Yeah, she
Awesome.
is here. Here she is. You're gonna get to see her
Awesome.
now. Marquisa, say hello.
My
Hey.
name is Mackie O'Loughlin. I'm the executive leader of business development and member services at First Federal Cooperative Credit Union. Happy Credit Union Week.
Hey, happy Credit Union Week to you and good morning. Hopefully you're hearing me okay.
I'm hearing you just fine. Thanks for
Great.
having
So
me. Thanks for having me.
now thanks for sponsoring me. You know, thank you very much for that. So what we've been talking about so far is just defining the theme for the week. Digital transformation for financial inclusion, sort of broke down what digital transformations have been happening and the benefits of it and the benefits of the financial inclusion to us. And I was just about to put it together, right? And you could tell me if you agree or disagree. So for me, when you combine those two things, you look at digital transformation for financial inclusion, it's really about leveraging technological advancements to make financial services more inclusive, assuring that a broader segment of the population, the St. Kitts and Nevis, and all the members that credit unions like yourself, First Federal, serve, can access and benefit from financial products and services. Is that about right?
On point. On
On
point.
point.
On
Oh, let me
point.
tap myself on the
On
back. I don't know if you
point.
can see me. I can't see you. I thought we were supposed to have the camera on today. Let me
I,
see
I
Yeah,
the.
I'm
it's there.
actually here
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
looking at you.
And I'm looking
I
at
Okay.
just
both of
tuned
you.
into
Yeah.
I'm just tuned into the program actually
Yeah.
live. Just turn on the volume so I could at least see.
Man, you have some
Uh,
serious latency on your end because I'm seeing you. I'm seeing her. Yeah,
Okay. Well, maybe it's
it's
the
all good.
platform. I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe I need to log on to the live. All right. So cool. So you know what, Makiso, I view you as a local celebrity, right?
Oh no. Oh
Absolutely.
no. No, no, no.
You
Just
know,
your humble servant. Just your humble servant.
just your humble servant. So
Yes.
I'm gonna jump into some questions for you, especially as you're celebrating Credit Union Week, and we have you here as an executive leader of the First Federal Credit Union. Last week we had Madeline Emmanuel, credit manager, and we were talking about all the amazing things that you guys are doing. So let me just set this up, right? So as we celebrate Credit Union Week, we will dive deep into the theme that resonates with the changing times, digital
Mm-hmm.
transformation for financial inclusion. In an era where we can order food, book plane tickets, and event tickets that we're seeing happening more through JAD, even consult with doctors online through telehealth and telemedicine, isn't it essential that everyone, regardless of their background, has the tools and the know-how to manage their finances digitally? Today, with Marquisa Lachlan here and her credit union, celebrating Credit Union Week, we'll explore how the fusion of technology and finance is not just a matter of convenience, but a powerful tool to bridge gaps, empower individuals, and usher in an era where no one is left behind.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you're a tech enthusiast or a finance professional like myself or Makisa, just someone curious about the future of banking and financial services, we want you to truly pay attention to this conversation that we are about to have. So, Mikey, so tell the people a little bit about yourself, and then I'll jump into some questions.
Okay, sure. I'll just go right ahead. So I'm the executive leader of business development, and part of my mandate, well, I'll actually tell you. When I joined the credit union and the credit union movement, my first introductions to credit union was through First Federal.
Okay.
So I joined the credit union space at a time when First Federal itself was undergoing a transformation.
Mm.
So that in and of itself was a big deal for me. So like basically as business development manager at the time, my whole mandate was just bringing us up to speed to meet modern times. Part of that included introduction of a credit card. You mentioned it. Everything is online now. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
at least needs access to these services so that they can get all the necessities that they need. Another part of that mandate was introduction of an ATM machine. And I know ATMs have been around for a long time and it's not new technology. But for some credit unions, it actually is. And for some credit unions today, even within our region, um, they're still unable to give their members access to an ATM machine. So we're very
Wow.
proud of over the last 3 years we've done that. And
Okay,
it's
good.
the funny thing about myself when I'm speaking of myself and my path with First Federal Credit Union, I joined First Federal in February 2020, and guess what happened 1 month after?
COVID?
The
That was COVID,
correct COVID.
yeah.
So we
That
went
was COVID.
straight into lockdown 1 month after my employment, and this is a time when I was full fledged. Man, I'm gonna be doing road shows. I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna be
Mm.
here, there. Because in my mind, that's what business development professionals do. I'm gonna be meeting him. I'm gonna meeting that
Mm-hmm.
person. That person. I'm gonna get everybody a part of our credit union, and boom, lockdowns. So that actually challenged me, and I actually think that it was almost like a blessing that
Mm-hmm.
my whole mindset just shifted, and I know that hey, hello, the people hired me to do a job here. I'm gonna have to get it done. So I went straight into digital right away.
Nice.
Right
Nice.
away, my whole realm, the whole
Mm-hmm.
operations of First Federal Credit Union went directly into digital. So it was not so much of a learning curve for me, nor
Mm-hmm.
was it for the credit union, because it was just necessary. It's just what had to be done. So a bit about me and a bit about how peculiar that situation is. So the topic is so on point and so poignant, and it was so important for me to say today that that was has been my journey with the credit union so far as a part of the credit union movement. Full
That's a
digital transformation.
That's a lovely stat because, COVID really changed how we did business. All right. And now we're seeing people trying to go backwards. And I'm like, no, let's continue moving forward with the digitization and the comfort with digitization. Right.
And
So I
convenience,
think,
yes.
and the convenience, yeah. So look, we have a problem with data collection in the region. St. Kitts and Nevis is no different, right? And usually, one of the two areas that are not often talked about is the underbanked and the unbanked. All right, so we're gonna start with a question there. But actually, last week I asked Marvelyn,
Madeline.
sorry, a question about her thoughts on banking versus credit unions. I would like your thoughts on that. How do you differentiate? How do the listening audience, or how can they differentiate between a credit union and the services and benefits of working with you versus a bank? I would like to hear your thoughts from your perspective.
Okay, so a very brief history lesson. Credit unions, when they first began primarily to actually serve the unbanked. So
Mm,
the unbanked are actually that's who we are. That's who we served. There was a time in our history where a certain class of persons were unable to access financing. They didn't have any land title, they didn't have any deed,
mm. No
no
collateral. Yeah.
collateral. They just simply could not go into a bank and access financing. They might have been able to open an account, yes, but because it was already so prohibitive for them, they can't get a loan.
Mm,
They just couldn't access certain financial services. Then what was the point? Keep your money under a mattress. So the credit union history and the credit union movement fundamentally began to provide services to the unbanked and the underbanked, if you want to call it that. So that's primarily why we exist today. Now, moving into a different world and a different era and digital transformation and all that, it's almost critical and fundamental for the credit unions to even work harder at what we're doing to serve the unbanked. Part of this includes, just as you mentioned, providing digital services. And you mentioned something that I really liked. You actually said that no one should be left behind. And that was so critical because in a sense, if you have a phone, if you have access to Wi-Fi, you should have access to at least a bank account. So that's so critical and so fundamental. No one shall be left behind. And primarily, that's why the credit union movement exists today, and that's what we try to achieve in our everyday operations, in our mantra, in our whole mission. So we do serve the unbanked, and through digital financial services, that's one of the key ways. There was a time when some of our credit unions, we didn't have like online banking and mobile apps and all of that, but since then
That's changing.
yeah, that is changing. Actually,
Nice.
shout out to my sister credit union, Police Credit Union. They have a nice fancy new website, so shout out to
Nice.
my sister credit union. And I don't know if it's a coincidence again, but right before Credit Union Week, they actually launched a full suite of their own digital services. I think that was like 2-3 weeks ago. So congratulations to them. But yes,
Nice.
credit unions are noticing that people are online, and you have to. I often tell people this: you have to fish where the fishes are. And that's about it. Everyone is online, and if you're truly serious as an institution, not only just a credit union, if you're truly serious as an institution about getting your services, your products and services into the hands of members and to the populace, then you definitely have to be online. That's
Definitely,
it.
definitely. So, so your mission was to help the unbanked, and I'm assuming as well the underbanked. And the unbanked is easy to understand, but the underbanked are those with bank accounts, but they're just not fully leveraging the benefits and services of their financial institution. And you just really went through how, and even with your introduction, how you've leveraged digital technology to reach a wider membership base. But I'm wondering if you would agree that there's still a lot more to go, because before you walked in, I was saying to Jamsa, hey, when the government gave that $1,000 a couple of weeks ago, there were still mega lines. There was still a lot of lines outside where people want to hold cash. People in St. Kitts Nevis actually still like physical, tangible cash. What are your thoughts there?
So it's such a tricky thing. I don't think it's necessarily peculiar to our population, but they always has
It's a
been
regional
the saying.
thing.
Yeah, I think that there's been the saying cash is king, and I think there's a certain allure, and we're overcoming it. So we're not totally behind. We're overcoming it. There is a certain allure about holding that physical cash in your hand. And I say this, I bring back an example of somebody, for example, like permanent shares. Permanent shares, they're a big thing in our credit union space because they're primarily how we invest in our credit unions, and that's how our members earn dividends. So I'm going to bring it down to that level. When you buy permanent shares, you actually get a certificate, a nice fancy certificate. It's
I got
colorful.
one.
Like you feel it in your hand, you could flop it around, you could wave it, you could smell it, you could fold it, and you have something to put aside. The other day, and that everyone gets that with just a minimum share purchase of $250. The other day, one of my colleagues said, there's a certificate of deposit. That's also our second form of investment. One of my colleagues said, man, the certificate of deposit, this paper is so light. You know, it doesn't feel like you just invested $50,000.
That is too funny.
I'm like, but your investment is there. You're gonna get your return. You're gonna see your statement online, albeit online. What it is about having that physical touch, and it comes down to a lot of people are kinesthetic. They have to feel that paper in their hand for some reason. They have to feel it. Nonetheless, we're not too far behind because we actually have a greater demand and a greater uptake of digital services within the credit union space. And First Federal Credit Union, again, to put in a plug for us, we have noticed that. And as a matter of fact, we're one of the few institutions, not just credit unions, we're one of the few institutions in St. Kitts and Nevis where you can totally onboard as a new member online.
Nice.
Today, you don't have to step a foot in our institution. As a matter of fact, we have 3 branches. So we have a wider footprint. We're the only credit union to have 3 branches, both on St. Kitts and Nevis. So we do have a wide footprint. Good. But still, we're saying to you, to become a member, you don't need to step a foot in our credit union. You don't need to come. You can access these services online, 2 a.m. in the morning. 5 o'clock while taking the train. If you're living in one of those big cities, Terrance, you finish doing a lecture, man. Let me go online and see if I can sign up to my credit union. So yes, you can become onboarded as a member without even stepping a foot in the credit union. Same for loans. Loans. You can apply for a loan from anywhere in the world. And I must say, even though credit unions, and this is legislative, of course, even though we are unable to have members outside of CARICOM residency and citizenship, we have a lot of members in the diaspora. So we do have to continue to reach citizens in St. Kitts and Nevis. So that's one of the ways that we continue to do that. So within this whole realm of the digital age, we're very proud of that. So you can become a member online, you can apply for a loan online, you can check all your bank accounts, you can get monthly e-statements. All of that is online. We recently launched a mobile app. We're still working on the Apple version, so bear with me. I'm an iPhone user as well.
So that's why I can't get it.
I'm an iPhone user as well. So Unite means a whole lot to me. I'm not even going to make a big hoopla below about it until I get both platforms on it. But yes, today, actually, our Android users can just go online and you can download our app. So there's so many ways to access our financial services, the services and information about First Federal Credit Union online. Today, we actually even made a point of having a big social media footprint as well. If you go online, I mean, I don't like to brag, but we have a strong we have a very
that's the whole point.
We have a strong social media presence, and actually for ICU week, our kickoff event was social media day. So all day today, our members could come online. You're going to see us actively engage on social media. I'll be doing a live Q&A at 3 p.m. this afternoon on our platforms. So it's so important for us, again, just to bring it back home as a credit union.
I have a question.
To just offer services online.
I have a question. I guess both of you can probably give me answers jointly. Makisha, you talked about the fact that you probably have you probably even have customers who live overseas, right?
Oh yeah.
So
I'm one. I'm one of them.
So Terrance,
that's my good member.
how does the credit union bank correspondent bank thing work with credit unions versus banks? How does that kind of infrastructure work?
I'll let Makisa speak towards that operational side. That's above my pay grade. The intricacies of it. But it is, correspondence banking is a challenge to the region on the whole. So I actually would love to hear how a credit union like First Federal will deal with that, right? Because sometimes in doing business, it's so hard. We have issues there where they're not wire transfers now, right? So how do we move money, Makisa?
And that's an excellent question, Jamson. I said this to say, well, first of all, correspondence banking is an issue across the region. Terrance said it. For credit unions now, we are a little different because legislatively we actually cannot. We're prohibited from doing wire transfers. So today in credit union, there's no credit union in St. Kitts and Nevis that offer wire transfer services. However, we have because you have to navigate these waters and you must do what you can to provide value for your members. And members unable, imagine you're in the States and you're not able to finance your loan. That's just totally out of the question. Are you in the States and you're unable to continue to put money on your savings account? Again, that was out of the question. So, I mean, cross-border services for us, it has always been a big deal. And we have figured out ways of helping our members achieve this. One such way is that we opened up a payment portal. This payment portal allows our members from wherever in the world you are to pay into your account in two ways, whether it's to finance a loan or just to do savings in
To
two
savings,
ways.
okay.
You can either one, do it through JAD. So JAD makes it easier. So we're fully integrated with JAD as a credit union. We're one of the first financial institutions in St. Kitts and Nevis to integrate fully with JAD. That's the first. And second, you can do it through your everyday credit card or debit card payments. And I'm talking Visa, MasterCard, any card that you have, you can fund your account through credit cards.
And you can use PayPal as well?
Not as yet.
Not as
Well,
yet.
yes, technically. Because if you
Because-
have your card set up with PayPal, then you can use it as well. But that's a good idea. We do need a PayPal account. Good thing I
And we
came
need you in
back.
the digital. We need you
Good
in
thing
the
I came
digital
back.
wallets too. You need you in the digital wallets of Google Pay, Samsung Pay, Apple Pay, all those abilities once you get there, right? If your credit card could do
Definitely,
that, that's so
definitely, and I totally agree. So that's one of the key ways that we decided. Okay, we're a credit union. We can't accept wire transfers, and we don't have that service for a member. But there are other ways you can circumvent. They say there's so many ways to skin a cat. So we found one such way, and we're gonna continue exploring. It's an exploration, and it's a journey for us. It's a journey for us again. 2020, 3 years on, it's a journey for us. And so we're going to continue that journey. And an excellent way. I like that. I like the idea of PayPal.
Because you know why I thought of it? I as a DJ, I did of all the record pools I use, there's one I pay for, right? It's $10 US a month. And I pay them via PayPal, right? And it's so seamless. Like when I just
don't think about it.
Yeah, when I go to pay, I just say send again. Click send again and it's gone. So, but I want to ask you a question, Terrance.
Yes, sir.
Is it rational? Because you have JAD and PayPal. Is it rational for there to be prohibitions against credit unions doing wire transfers?
I don't think it is.
That's exactly what I asked.
So I really liked what Marquisa said here in terms of finding ways to circumvent the challenges that you have, right? And actually, the point here too is one, Jamsa, you're right. It's not rational. I think we could move because credit unions are emerging and have actually changed what they were meant to be. So now, like Marquisa said, the initial charters, legislations, whatever, it's about the unbanked, the underbanked. Now you have the people that are properly banked reaching out with credit unions. If you were to ask me, I prefer to work with a credit union over a bank any day, just because of the relationship that you have with your bankers, your officers, and so on. If I need something, I send a WhatsApp and like, hey, can you nudge this person? That's the type of relationship that makes people comfortable. And Marquisa, you actually said this. Actually, you alluded to it, but I want you to echo it. That by going around the wire transfer, you've actually helped your members to save on fees. You actually helped your members to save on transfer fees. Because if I was to wire money to a bank account in St. Kitts, I'm talking about $40 transfer fee from here, whatever the fee is there, we're already at least 135 to 150 EC in the hole, versus going through JAD, I think it's like $299, right? So you help your members save on fees significantly.
Definitely.
But that raises another logistical question. What if you need an escrow set up for a particular transaction, and you want to use your credit union, but you want to have an escrow set up? What do you do?
Well, so for today, that's something that we technically can't do, because for credit unions, it's a member-to-member relationship. Credit union to your to a member, as Terrance says. So it's difficult to do transactions on behalf of a member without that member having a direct interface with that transaction. And
Yeah.
that's what makes us personal. So there are limitations with that personal service, and there are limitations within that realm. But again, these are not waters that we're willing to navigate, and waters that our digital services, access to digital services, do help us to navigate. Today, we have a credit card. So let's say, for example, you do need to set up some kind of escrow payment, and whatever you want to finance takes credit cards. You
You
could
could use
use
that.
that. You could use that. We're working on a debit card product. Most credit unions
I
have.
don't think you should. I don't think you should. I'm screaming here. I'm screaming the alarm. Debit cards, from a liability perspective, I'm talking from the consumer side.
Mhm.
You don't have that liability protection as you would with a credit card.
It's not
So I
your
don't think
money, yeah.
I don't think you should, right? But
This is actually interesting, and if you're willing to have that conversation, I'm
I
willing to
am
have it as
I am
well.
I'm willing to have that conversation. But we have about 15 minutes, Makisa, and you've really talked about a lot of the benefits. And the whole social media campaign that you talked about is really going to resonate with young people.
Mm-hmm.
So besides Facebook, what are some of the other platforms that you're using to reach the younger petitions and visions in the diaspora and locally?
Man, First Federal Credit Union, we're everywhere. We're on WhatsApp. You can actually WhatsApp today, and you're gonna get somebody. So we're on WhatsApp, which is everyone
That's
has WhatsApp.
that's
Even if
huge.
you don't have a Facebook profile today, you can WhatsApp First Federal Credit Union. So we have WhatsApp, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have a YouTube channel.
Oh
We have
wow.
our website. So again, these are just five platforms already that I've listed, and we're actually exploring more. So besides our Facebook page, we have fully, I think we have fully engaged our users, our members and non-members, and we continue to do so. And we want that digital footprint. And as I'm just gonna put in a pitch for it again, today is our social media day. We're gonna be giving out vouchers and gift cards and cash prizes all day
I
today.
want a cash
Well,
prize.
log on, like us, like us, like us,
Volume.
like us. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Both platforms we're gonna be doing giveaways. And aside from social media day, actually maybe I should just run through our calendar of events quickly.
Yeah, sure.
Every credit union, by the way, has their own calendar, but I have access to mine, so I'm gonna share mine. And again, you could just log on to your own credit union. We're sisters in this thing, or maybe cousins. I don't know. We're relatives. We're sister cousins.
I like relatives.
We're
'Cause
sister cousins in this thing, and it's not a competitive landscape as with banks, credit unions. So I'm going to encourage everyone, no matter which credit union you're in, to just log on to their social media platforms and see what your credit union is doing this week for International Credit Union Week. But yes, I'm going to run through mine. So today is Social Media Day. Which, and some people say social media, digital media. Some people put it in one pot, but we have not. We think of it separately but related. So we have our social media day today, and our social media day features live Q&A. That's at 3 p.m. We have games and prizes, trivia all day today. We have staff social media features, so you're gonna see some familiar faces, the faces that you know and trust. And also, actually today was Money Matters. So we actually put you on the program. So big up Win FM for giving us the opportunity to
and put us
again.
on your YouTube channel too.
Yeah, actually we're going to do that. So I'm going to integrate all
Awesome.
of that. So big up Win FM and giving us the opportunity again yet to reach another wide segment of the market. Digital Day, which is tomorrow. That's why it says social media a little different. So Digital Day, now we're going to place emphasis on our members using all of our e-services. So if you use any e-service, it doesn't matter what it is. So you could apply for a credit card online. You can... what can you do? You can do online banking. So just even a simple transfer in your online banking. You can... You can even just apply for a loan. Any kind of e-service that you access tomorrow for Digital Day, you're going to enter into a chance to win fantastic prizes again. One of those prizes is a spa day from Chop Shop, and we have supermarket vouchers. Everyone knows how expensive food is. So you say,
Yes.
back then the big prize used to be like, you won in a promotion. You say you want to win a phone. No, when I
Yeah. Now it's
say
food.
no, 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 when I say you have supermarket vouchers,
People
everybody
get
gets
excited.
excited. So
Yeah.
so we have supermarket vouchers for tomorrow for Digital Day. On the 18th now, which is Wednesday, we have My First Savings Day. So the My First Savings Day is a tribute to almost our savings account. We call it the My First Savings. You get it? My First
Mm-hmm.
Federal. My First. That's our
Mm-hmm.
youth savings account, and we're gonna invite children from across the island and schools that we have relationships with, and that's as low as preschool, to come in and
Oh
have a tour
wow.
of their credit union. And so that's
That's
something that
nice.
we're gonna do on
Expose
Wednesday,
them early.
very early. And we actually have a few programs coming up soon, but I'll tell you more about it on subsequent Money Matters
Lovely.
programs.
Lovely.
And then on the 19th, that's the actual ICU day itself. And that's when we launch our big members raffle. Now, this members raffle is like the raffle of all raffles. We introduced it for the first time last year. Our grand prize this year. Oh my, should I announce the grand prize?
Of
Should I give
course.
you an exclusive?
Exclusive. Yes.
So this year, I hope I'm not saying too much. I hope I'm not saying too much, but I'm gonna spill the beans. We're doing a trip to New York as our grand prize, and also a second place prize. We're gonna have a trip to Miami, and that comes with free shopping credit using your credit
Ooh.
card.
That's two first prizes as far as I'm concerned.
I'm saying, and our third prize, another hot, or maybe cool thing. We're gonna be giving away a free AC unit. So in this,
Oh,
so
I
Three
think that's
first
the first
prizes.
prize. I think that's the
Given the
first prize.
temperatures these days.
That's the first prize there.
which one is the first prize?
The AC. The AC. Like, I was home in the summer. The AC is the first prize. Trust.
There you go. So see, we have 3 first prizes, and for this Invest and Win campaign, it's another trifecta. So you invest, meaning you invest more in our credit union, you buy more permanent shares. With your
Okay.
permanent shares, you get a chance. Every $100, you get a chance to get one raffle ticket that enters you into this draw to win. And then the third benefit for this Invest and Win promotion, it's yours. It's your permanent shares, and annually you're gonna get dividends on them anyways. So it's like the ideal trifecta. You're gonna win 3 ways. So even if you don't win at the raffle prize, you do get permanent shares, something that you can hold, or you can
Okay.
transfer eventually. You
Or
can
you could
sell, you
will,
could
you
pass,
could
you could
inherit. Yeah,
will,
there
you
you
could.
go.
Yes, it's a way of creating. So you get to create wealth. You get something to pass on to future generations. And more and more we hear our people, and I'm so happy that the conversation is changing. You hear people talking about generational wealth, and so this is something that we are
Yeah.
really proud to be in that space for.
We have to do a show on that, Jams, to really define what that means, because we don't invest in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yes.
We get dividends and we
We're
withdraw
getting
it,
there,
and
we're
then
getting
we
there.
so yeah, we've made some progress. Look, we have like in a few minutes, as brief as you could potentially be. Tell me about some of the challenges that credit unions like yourself face while having this balancing act, right, of being a not-for-profit institution while still investing heavily and costly, I'm sure, into these digital products to enhance the lives of your members and your clients that you serve. And what do you think could really bring about greater change? Because we just talked about the inability to do, our struggles with cross-border transfers. Maybe together as a credit union league, you could come together and lobby for legislative changes. What are your thoughts on that? What are some of those challenges that you see?
Man, I'm so happy that you said that. And again, that's an excellent question, because it's a challenge, and I want everyone to understand, especially of our members. It's a challenge that we are okay with, because we more or less have made up our minds as credit unions, and as a credit union, as I speak for First Federal Credit Union especially, that we have to invest in digital services, in digital technology, that it comes with quite a hefty price tag. And I'm going to explain that price tag in a little bit. but it comes with a hefty price tag. But eventually, and this is how investment works, it works both ways.
Mhm.
Eventually, you get returns, and those returns look like what? So it's operational efficiency, right? So less paper, we're doing better for the environment. Somebody has less work to do. Agreed? The
Yep.
second one is value to our members. When we provide digital services, our members benefit because, again, Terrance, you're wherever in the world you are. I heard you on a beat somewhere, but let's not get into it. You're wherever
That's how
in
it
the
goes
world you are,
sometimes, man.
right? You're wherever in the world you are, and you can still access our services. Isn't that a worthy
Of course.
investment?
Of
So
course.
it's so important to invest. Now back to that hefty price tag. With introduction of digital services, it's not even just about the digital services, you also have security risks that increase with the provision of those services.
Yeah,
So
I have a question
first you
about that
provide the
actually.
service, and second you still have to pay more to secure those services, because your digital assets is it's something that people want to steal just as they want to steal physical cash. And in this information age, information is extremely valuable. And
It
that's
is
something that we have to invest in to
credible
protect.
information.
Correct. Credible information is extremely valuable. And that's something that we accept that we have to pay to protect. So we pay both ways and we invest both ways. But ultimately, we're still happy to do this because it provides value for our members, it provides operational efficiency, and eventually that investment is going to provide returns down the road. So we're okay with that.
Yeah, that's a
But
really
it's
good
not
answer.
cheap. But it's not
It,
cheap.
it, it is definitely
It's
not
not
cheap.
cheap.
I imagine from the infrastructures, ATMs, and the security side is probably where you're going to end up spending a lot more money as you push for digitization. One of the things we talked about too was like cybersecurity threats, right? That could potentially happen, not just with the credit union, but with the people that you work with, your external companies in this ecosystem that you're creating. Look, I think the landscape in the ECCU region, the region that you serve, the members that you serve, we need major legislative overhaul in financial services. We need that to just be revamped for the modern day age of doing business. We need government to get out of the way, right? And the reality is for us to dig deeper, especially what the topic of this week that you guys are pushing and all the changes that you're making, is we need the credit unions to work together. So speak briefly about that, 30 seconds if you can, because Jamster is
Quickly,
going to run us just now.
really quickly,
How are you guys working together in order to push a legislative agenda that is to help the people that you serve?
quickly, we do what we must and we do what we can. Credit unions in and of itself, we are about cooperation. That's a big thing in our space. Working together, helping each other. So yes, it is expensive, but think about it this way for credit unions, and we are having these conversations. We actually have a league. I'm sorry that a league representative couldn't be here with us today, but we are going to be on other radio stations throughout the week, and we might be right back here on Win FM. So we have
Let
a
me know if
league.
the interviewer is as good as I am.
We have a league, and that league basically should advocate for all credit unions and operate in a space where we can get benefits. So imagine one credit union setting up infrastructure with a small amount of members. So for us, I'm not going to necessarily go into numbers, but we are like the third smallest credit union. Right? So, and you think we're big, right? But we actually...
I actually would think you're like second next
no,
to.
we're growing and we're getting there. So
Oh.
the second place, I'm coming for you. in of course in a cooperative spirit.
As cooperative as
as
it
cooperative
could be.
as it can get. So I'm not competitive at all. But yes, within this space, we are actually one of the smaller credit unions. So imagine us tackling or trying to pay for, let's just throw out a random thing, say an ATM machine. Imagine if we came together as a credit union movement and we invested in one network, pay one fee and all of us are using the same
That's
service.
a great idea, actually.
Imagine how much cost savings, and then we just, at the end of the year, just split it. However, we could probably prorate it. Maybe who has the more
Yeah.
members pay more. It could just be equal. It doesn't even matter, because at this point, you're gonna achieve so much cost
Economies
savings and
of
economies
scale.
of scale that it doesn't even
Yeah.
matter how you decide to spread across that investment, because you would have already achieved that cost savings in all of us coming together and just investing in one, whatever that is,
That is
one
a great
software,
idea.
one whatever that is. Because most of these things, and I know you know how it works, Terrance and Jamster, on a level of investing in any digital platform, there's these heavy one-time fees, upfront
yeah.
fees. It doesn't matter if you have 1 user or 4 million users, you're gonna pay
The
that
fee is the
fee.
same.
The fee is the
Yep.
same. So imagine, as credit unions, if we were to work together to achieve those volumes. So excellent question, Terrance, and I guess your mindset was working towards that, because I'm happy
Look,
that I was able to bring that out today.
An excellent
My-
idea. That's a
my-
great idea, right, Terrance?
It is a fantastic idea, and it's something that we should have already been doing. But things take time.
It takes. We get
And
in there. We get in there.
As our human capital at the top of some of these financial institutions change and pathways open up for people like myself to come back home and take up spaces, not putting that out into the universe, I think that's when we're going to start to see this, right? Start to see the adaptability and taking the best of the developed world and bringing it back home. Makisa Lachlan, I want to thank you so much for all that you shared with us today. Any concluding thoughts, and then we will sign off for this episode of Money Matters.
I just would like to thank WINNFM for having us. Thank you again for giving us the opportunity to partner with you on such an important program like Money Matters. Money Matters is almost critical in this day and age. We're happy to share with you about Credit Union Week and our principles and what we stand for. And again, I'm just going to remind our listening and viewing audience to tune in on our social media platforms all week this week, so you could see what we have happening at your credit union, as well as tune into your own credit unions wherever you are and wherever that credit union might be. A lot is in store this week for Credit Union Week, and we want all of our members to get the full value and benefits of what it means to be a part of a credit union. And with that, I'll just like to thank you again for having me a part of this show this morning.
And thank you for coming, and thank First Federal Credit Union for being the sponsor of Money Matters. And look, we talked about so much today, and I hope what the listening audience takes away from this is that your institution, your credit unions like the First Federal or Police Credit Union or SKCU, SKCCU, etc., they're working on your behalf. They're working, and this theme is so important and resonates because it takes a lot of investment, and these are not-for-profit companies, a lot of investment in order to give accessibility and affordability to you, the members. So how do you benefit from that or take advantage of those opportunities? You have to engage. You have to engage. You have to sign up. You have to be members. I could tell you, hey, if you want to get a loan, it's easier to go the credit union route than sometimes to the bank, right? They might not be able to give you the size, but you get the relationship. Last week, we heard from Madeline Emmanuel, also First Federal, that talked about a business builder line of credit. What? For business? You mean businesses could get loans? Small businesses? Yes. You got that from a credit union. So look, this is Money Matters with Dr. Terrance Martin, streaming live from somewhere in the world. I was extremely happy to have Makisa Lachlan in studio with us. She's a local celebrity there in St. Kitts and Nevis. She hates when I say that, but that's what I tell her all the time. And Jamster, as always, was a pleasure. Remember, it takes financial knowledge to know that you're making financial mistakes. I'm Dr. Terrance Martin signing off. Have a great rest of your week.
Different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Are you getting a share of the profits from your bank? Kimberly is. Every year, First Federal returns a share of its profits to members like Kimberly. Nice, right? As a credit union,